Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ozzy. If this is your very first time joining my channel, you're welcome. This is the channel that I created to share my experience applying for a green card under the employment-based second preference national interest waiver category, otherwise called the EB2-NIW category. Today I'm going to share with you 10 mistakes that people make when it comes to applying for their green card under the EB2-NIW category. And these are mistakes that you can avoid. I'm going to tell you all about that today. But before I go into it, if you haven't already subscribed, please click on the subscribe button right now. And if you'd like to get a notification in your mail every time I upload a new video, please click on the bell sign. So today I'm going to share with you 10 mistakes that people make when it comes to filing for their green card under the EB2-NIW category, because I want you to avoid those mistakes and be able to successfully petition for your green card. The very first thing that I want you to avoid is using the wrong form, right? So I always talk about this every time I record a video for you. I always tell you, use the right form and use the most recent version of that form. I made that mistake when I started applying. I started putting my application together earlier in the year, so say March, and so I downloaded all the forms that I was going to need and I started working on them. Now when it was time for me to submit, I submitted a form, but it was the outdated form. USCIS had made some updates to the form and I didn't realize that, and because of that my application was returned to me. So I'm very passionate about telling you guys, the very first thing that you want to do, you always want to make sure that you have the most recent version of a form. Even if all the information on that form is correct, if you use an outdated form, they're going to return that to you, okay? And the way that you can make sure that you're using the most recent version of the form is by going on the USCIS website, downloading the form right when you want to use it. I'm going to leave a link in the description portion of this video that will help you to go straight to USCIS website and gain access to all these forms, okay? So that's the very first thing. Use the most recent version of any form that you're filling out to submit to USCIS. The second thing I'm going to say you be aware of is when you do use the appropriate form and you fill out all this great information about yourself, you want to make sure you sign that form. Yes. If you don't sign that form, it's going to get returned to you. So that's simple. When you fill out the information on the form, sign the form. All right. That's the second thing. The third thing I'm going to say is make sure that you fill out all the portions of the form that you need to fill out. An incomplete form as well. In most cases, your application will be returned to you and you don't really want that. So make sure that you're using an outdated version, you're signing that form, and you're completing all the areas that you need to complete. The fourth thing I'm going to say is submit the appropriate evidence. Make sure that you're putting in the appropriate evidence to support your case. The big thing with the EB2-NIW application is that you're saying that you're exceptional and that it's beneficial for the United States to keep you in this country. You have to submit supporting evidence and make sure that when you fill out the form that you're putting all the evidence that you need to put in. So say for instance, you're saying you have an advanced degree. Are you putting in a copy of your transcript? Are you going to put in a copy of your degree certificate? Make sure that you're putting these things in, because if you don't have the sufficient evidence, your form is going to get what? Returned to you. All right. So that's number 4. Number 5, this is a no-brainer, but I find that I have to repeat it sometimes because not everyone is going to get it. The EB2-NIW category is not for everyone. Not everyone is going to get their green cards to the EB2-NIW category because they're just not qualified for it. So make sure that you go through the qualification requirements. Make sure that you're qualified for this category before you actually start this application process, all right? If you're going to self-petition, look through the requirements. Do you have an advanced degree? Are you exceptional? Have you won awards? Have you been recognized in your field? Do you have grants, patents? Whatever it is that shows that you're exceptional, all right? And can you show that it's going to be in the interest of the United States to keep you here? Does your work have national merit? Are you well positioned to advance that work? And will it be detrimental to the United States to let you go? These are things that you have to think about before you even decide to turn in your application using the employment-based second preference national interest waiver green card category, right? Think about this. Make sure that you're not underqualified, because if you're underqualified, what's going to happen is you're going to spend all this time, setting up this application documents, doing all these things, only for it to get what? Rejected. And you really don't want that, all right? So make sure that you're not underqualified. Make sure you're qualified actually for the EB2-NIW category. Number 6. Make sure that when you apply for the EB2-NIW category, you actually send in the right amount, right? The right amount. Make sure that if you're applying for the I-140, that you attach the right amount to the application and you send that to USCIS. Now, if you don't attach the right amount, of course, you haven't really paid for the service, or you have underpaid for the service, you're not going to get the service, and so that application is going to be returned to you. Of course, you're going to have an opportunity to send in the right amount, but you want to make sure that this process is happening as quickly as it can, and so make sure that you're double checking, so you can go on USCIS website to see how much each application costs, and you're putting in the right amount, sending that with your application. Number 7 is, are you mailing this application to the right address? And the address that you send your application to actually depends on the state that you live in right now, and so make sure that you go on USCIS website, make sure that you're using the right address, you're sending in the right amount, and everything is on its way to USCIS in a timely fashion. All right. Number 8, weak recommendation letters. Weak recommendation letters. And why do I say that? Well, the recommendation letters for the EB2-NIW is actually quite specific in the format that you use. All right, you want to use people that are experts in your field, people that can attest to the fact that you're an expert too. The USCIS places priority on people who don't know you personally. So if you're getting letters from people who are too close to you, or like your aunt, your uncle, family friends, these are not going to carry much weight. You have to find experts in your field who don't know you personally, but know you on the basis of your work. All right, and so you can get a letter from your employer, you can get a letter from your mentor. I would prioritize letters from experts who know you mainly because of your work, the value of your work. All right, and when they write those letters, make sure that it's in a certain format where, you know, so they're introducing themselves, they're telling the USCIS officer, this is my work, this is what I have done, this is the reason why you should listen to me, because I'm a voice to be reckoned with in the field. And then they're telling them how important your work is as well, and the value that you're bringing. And finally, they're recommending you for permanent residency. That's the format that this letter should be in. I always encourage people to also include a CV of the recommender as well. This actually tells the USCIS officer the work that that person has done and how important they are in your field. So make sure that you're sending strong recommendation letters. There is no set number of recommendation letters that you should send in. So some people send in 4, some people send in 5, you know, whatever it is. I sent in 6 recommendation letters. I had 2 letters from people that knew me fairly well personally, my boss, and of course my PhD mentor. But I had 4 letters from other people in my field, like experts in my field, who could attest to the value of my work. Number 9 is poor presentation. And that has to do with your petition letter. Now, when you write your petition letter, so when you fill out your form, people ask me, how do I tell the USCIS officer that I actually qualify for EB2-NIW? It's all in how you write your petition letter. Now, my petition letter was 40 pages long. It was a letter to the USCIS officer stating what the requirements are for the EB2-NIW category and proving in each case that I had met these requirements. And the way that I did that was by writing a letter. And so you have to state your case clearly. Imagine that you're on your dinner table with your grandparents and your cousins and all these people that are not in your field, right? And you have to tell them what your research is about, or you have to tell them what your work is about. Are you going to tell them about your work in the biggest terms that they might not understand? No, you're going to use simple terms. You're going to want to convey the information in a clear manner, in a way that tells them that you know what you're talking about, you're an expert in this field, but also in a way that they understand what you do. All right, so don't use the biggest terms in your field, because chances are the person reading your application is not in your field, and so they don't know those things. And so by putting those big terms, they're just not going to understand what you're saying. And so a petition letter is just a perfect way to explain your case in simple terms, right? Convey that information, attach evidence to the petition letter to let them know that you actually know what you're talking about, you're an expert in the field, and so you have to present it in a beautiful way. I've written an ebook that has all that information. I put the link to the ebook in the description portion. I've put templates, I've put my original petition letter, of course I've taken out the sensitive information, I've put my recommendation letters to give you a guide to write recommendation letters. I've put all the evidence, a list of all the evidence that I submitted to get my green card, and this would really, really help you. All right, so to gain access to that ebook, go ahead and look in the description portion of this video, and I'll put a link to the ebook, and that would really, really help you. Number 10, I feel like this is a no-brainer, but I feel like I have to say it because sometimes if you don't say something, someone may say that they did know that they shouldn't have done that. All right, so number 10 is be honest. Be honest. Don't lie about your qualifications. Don't lie about your achievements. Don't lie about things that you've done, because chances are there's going to be a background check, right? Someone might pick up the phone and say, hey, let me even call this recommender that this girl talked about. And so how will it be if you call your recommender up and they say, the recommender is like, I don't know who that is? she made up that letter, so make sure that you're truthful about every aspect of your application. Honestly, be truthful about who you are. This actually goes beyond applying for a green card. This is actually a life lesson. All right, be truthful about who you are, be truthful about what you're doing. That goes a long way in establishing that you're actually an honest person, preserving your integrity. And so be honest in your application. Tell the truth. All right, and of course, if you'd like to gain access to that ebook I talked about, look in the description portion of this video. A quick recap: what are the 10 things that I said that you should make absolutely sure that you're doing these things right? Number one is make sure you use the updated form that you're going to be submitting. Make sure you're not using an outdated form. Make sure it's updated. Make sure you complete all the portions of that form. Make sure that you sign that form. Of course, make sure you include the right amount for that application, and make sure you send it to the right address. When it comes to your actual application, make sure that you're being truthful on that application. Make sure that you're presenting your case in the most easy to understand way, but you're including all the evidence that you need. All right, so make sure that it's a strong presentation. Make sure you're using good recommendation letters. Make sure that the people that are recommending you, they're writing these recommendation letters in a way that will be acceptable by USCIS. And last but not the least, go through the requirements of the EB2-NIW. Be honest and make sure that you're qualified for this category before you even start this application, because that's really important to getting an approval. All right, if you've enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.